afternoon. My name is Matthew Bukit, and I'm a research fellow from the Cambodian Institute for Strategic Studies. Today, I'm joined by His Excellency Dr. Chuon Naron, Minister of Education, Youth and Sport. The topic of our interview today will be the World Economic Forum on ASEAN 2017, which will be hosted here in Phnom Penh. Thank you, Your Excellency, for taking the time for this interview today.
You're welcome.
I wanted to start off by asking you, what do you believe is the significance of Cambodia hosting the World Economic Forum on ASEAN?
So, thank you very much for the interview. I think for the first time that Cambodia hosts the World Economic Forum on ASEAN. In the past, World Economic Forum held a number of meetings in the region, in Singapore, Malaysia, in Vietnam, also in Myanmar. So this is for the first time in Cambodia. And it also showed that Cambodia give priority to integration, to how to work with the private sector in order to generate growth. And that also reflects the Cambodian government policy to promote private sector development, and especially public-private partnership. If we look at the past 2 decades, Cambodia has moved from a least developed country status, LDC, to the middle income status right now. Also with the contribution of the private sector. So it is like a kind of model that we can share with other countries, how to move from LDC status to the middle income status. Therefore, I think it's also very important for Cambodia to host a meeting of the World Economic Forum on ASEAN, so that we can attract more investment, and also to showcase Cambodia experience, how we can promote economic development for a relatively short time. We just like in 1998, we had just had peace, and right now almost 20 years, we have achieved great success in promoting growth and also economic development.
Very interesting, thank you. And about the forum itself this year, what do you believe is the significance of the themes chosen, which is youth, technology, and growth?
So this theme is very relevant because half of the Cambodian population are young. It means that if you look at people of 30 years and below, almost 70% of the Cambodian population, age 30 years and below. So Cambodia has the youngest population in Southeast Asia. That's number one. Number two is a challenge for many countries for educating the young people for the job in the future. I think the World Economic Forum has identified that if we don't give the young people the skill needed, then in the future, by 2030, many young people will not be able to have the good job if they don't really have good skill. Also, a reflection of the importance of technology in development. I think Professor Schwab also highlighted in his statement about the fourth industrial revolution, characterized by artificial intelligence, by Internet of Things, by 3D printing, by autonomous vehicle, and I think this is it means that technology drive the whole process of growth and also development. It also links technology to education. We think that in order to ensure inclusive growth, we have to give the young people the knowledge and also the skill needed for the future job. And what kind of skill? It means that we should give the young people both soft skill, and also hard skill. Because of the rapidly changing technology and economic landscape, the skill needed for the future job will change drastically. Therefore, give the young people really a good combination of both soft skill and hard skill is really very important. That's why the theme youth technology is really critical for Cambodia, and also for that reason, in response to I think the future challenges, we also focus on how to improve the quality of education, how to give young people both hard and soft skill, and we focus also on STEM education, on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to address the skill mismatch so that we can create more opportunity for young people to get the employment needed, to get the skill that necessary for the future job market.
Given the fierce competition in the region, how can Cambodia remain competitive as other ASEAN states place greater emphasis on improving education and technology?
So in the past, Cambodia focused on the cheap labor force to generate growth, mainly to focus on the garment factory, which is the labor-intensive industry, on traditional agriculture, and also on construction, but mainly the use low-skilled labor. Of course, tourism also was one of the pillars for growth. However, moving forward, to remain competitive, Cambodia should focus on higher value added, on, say, for example, on the transformation of agricultural product, on agribusiness, on the high-ended tourism, which use high level of skills, and also on the new sector like manufacturing sector or electronic sector that require better skilled workforce, and educated population is crucial to the industrial development. Therefore, the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport has embarked during the last 4 years on education reform to improve the quality, to give the young people both hard and soft skill, and also in order to diversify the Cambodian economy, and also give the young people the skills, and also to attract the foreign investment. We have seen the skill mismatch that has emerged during the last 5 years. Therefore, to respond to the skill mismatch, we will invest more on engineering, on STEM education, and also especially to promote the knowledge of digital tools, which is very crucial for the fourth industrial revolution.
Thank you. So, in response, how can education sectors adapt to meet the needs of a large and growing youth demographic in ASEAN?
So it means that education really play a very important role, but also the quality education. So not just access to education, but the cognitive and non-cognitive skill of the population is crucial for growth. It means that we must improve the quality, but also have the young people have more critical thinking skill, problem-solving skill. Therefore, we have revised our curriculum, moving from the content-based curriculum to competency-based curriculum, by improving the teaching method, so that the student, they can have time to reflect, to think, to promote critical thinking. They can work in group to promote teamwork, and also to we have introduced the global citizenship education, so that the young people have more commitment, responsibility. Those are the soft skills needed for the new area of development and of growth. And quality education really and skill really play a very important role. I think this is the commitment of Cambodia to have a increased upskilling of a young population so that they can, and especially to promote lifelong learning opportunity, because skill also change, but what remain constant is that the commitment of young people to go back to school, to relearn things, and also to adapt to the changing job market. I think this is a very important message to the young people. I think entrepreneurship education also one of the part of the education reform as well. I think we have adopted youth policy to promote volunteerism, to promote that kind of synergy between the young people and also the technology.
Since 1999, the World Economic Forum has tried to shift to a more inclusive approach, which focuses on inviting a more diverse group of stakeholders and aims for policies that the founder Carl Schwab termed to have everybody in the boat.
Yeah.
How can this approach benefit both ASEAN and the World Economic Forum?
I think that when the World Economic Forum held meeting in the past, it's more like a club of CEO. Top CEO were invited, all the leaders were invited to address the World Economic Forum, attended by many representatives of the business sector mainly. And we have seen the change that has taken place. And I think it's like a soul searching within this World Economic Forum, from a forum for top business people to a forum that encourage more inclusiveness. And especially that happened after the global financial crisis in 2008. And we, after, high growth period and rapid growth, so we have come to reality that, high growth rate has to be, growth has to be sustainable. And many issues also arise after, after the crisis. So, like climate change, like sustainable development. So the world moved from MDG to SDG. I think that also the recognition of that kind of inclusiveness, and also the role of education. And I think that right now, World Economic Forum is seen like a global hub of ideas, not just because not just a hub of CEO, but also more representative of the NGO invited. I think the change agents, the one that, because we have to look at the world as multi-dimension. Not just driven by by business sector, but also we talk about the social enterprise, not just the profitable enterprise. So social enterprise also play a role for job creation. I think that we need a balanced role, and also what affect the business also, like mega trends, and also the geopolitical issue that affect the whole world. So I think World Economic Forum has become a forum that and also become a hub for ideas. So we have seen the format of the discussion has changed to focus more on the new trends of in the world, ideas. That's why we have seen like the fourth industrial revolution and how education respond to that. But also we have seen that everybody were invited to have different point of views, and we think that this is the right approach, because we have to look over the long term, not just short term. And I think this forum should serve the interests of humanity, and we know that humanity is multifaceted. So therefore, I think that would benefit ASEAN tremendously, and also World Economic Forum also, but also it should benefit humanity.
Mm-hmm. And talking about humanity there are major challenges to humanity in the global scale, such as sluggish global demand, climate change, as you mentioned, protectionism, the European debt crisis, and slow growth in emerging markets, just to name a few. What do you foresee the World Economic Forum on ASEAN, or what role do you foresee them having in addressing these challenges?
And I think that the World Economic Forum should focus on the mega trends, the trend that will drive not just growth, but also development at the global scale during the next, say, 10-20 years. It means that all the issues should be discussed from a different point of view, including, slow global demand and how to have that balance, development, a balanced world, and also to look at, how we can address the problem climate change will become now, the change at the microclimate as well, and how that affect, economic development and growth in individual country, and how to each country adapt to that climate change. I think that's why I think it's like a theme for the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, which is more ambitious than the MDG and involve many actors. I think therefore, WEF format, more adaptive and responsive to the needs of the world, to the needs of humanity. It really a welcome approach and a right approach. And I think that we have to go back, to 2,000 years ago, when Socrates asked the question, how we learn from we learn. It means that we have to ask many questions. I think that forum to ask many questions, albeit very difficult questions, is allow us to think together how we can solve problem for the future.
Based on history and experience, how do you see the role of Cambodia in working with other countries within the framework of the World Economic Forum to address challenges?
So, Cambodia also face challenges when we have made very rapid, development and growth. We have seen that some of the challenges that we are facing very similar to, to other countries, and also there are some like populist policy, protectionism, etc. I think that protectionism is not new. I think the fact that we have World Economic Forum here is that it allows us to think through many of the policy issues. For example, how to make sure that technology development can benefit many people, not just to generate rapid economic growth. And I think that this is the theme that, how to make growth inclusive, how to make use of technology to serve not just, the business sector, but also the poor, maybe the disadvantaged group of people. I think that the challenges and the opportunity for Cambodia to learn from World Economic Forum and also from other countries, how to upskill the people, give people the skill, the opportunity, and also to make use of technology so that it benefit growth, it benefit development, but also it benefit those who cannot catch up with the rapid growth. I think with the rapidly changing technology, we have seen the gap between the not just between country but also within country, the gap in terms of wealth but also of knowledge, in terms of skills. I think that also we should learn how we design public policy to address that gap, to reduce that gap. What will be the mechanism to really to use the dividends of high growth, of rapidly changing technology, to make sure that those who left behind will be helped. We get also help so that they can benefit. So we need a more balanced country, we need a more balanced world, and how we can design public policy to address those issues associated with that, high growth, and also with that increasing discrepancies between different groups of population.
You talked a lot about the opportunities that we have from this forum, but what do you believe could be the outcomes of this year's forum?
I think the outcome of this year's forum is the business opportunity for people who come. I think they can see Cambodia in a more realistic way, not just, and that, there are right now people, I think also the trend that people, I think the trust in the mainstream media, traditional media, reduce. And we have seen the rise of social media. But to make a good judgment about any country is to come and see. I think this is important for Cambodia to showcase that, of course, we've gone through, many difficult times. We've gone through war in the 1970, genocide, but also civil war. But how Cambodia, rise from the ashes of civil war, genocide, to promote that kind of development. Though we have challenges, but also we have, area where we can showcase to the world, to the business people about, about our stories, success story in Cambodia, and also how we can, work together with the private sector, and also with all the sector, all the, sector, including, social entrepreneur, young people themselves. I think to think about the future of Cambodia. I think it is also an opportunity for the young people to think about themselves, to think about how they can contribute to the future development, because the future belongs to the young people, and the young people should be included in the World Economic Forum. So I want to have, how the young people can be chosen really to express themselves, to think about themselves. And I think that that's why, in terms of inclusiveness, I want to see, a forum for the young people, so that, they can think, because they cannot rely on other people's thought, they have to start to think, what can they contribute to the future of their country, to the future of their region, to the future of their world.
Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think that, we look at, the World Economic Forum sometimes only from the business perspective, growth perspective, but I think we can benefit how culture can contribute to mutual understanding. And we know that, the world suffers from terrorism, from the clash of civilization, from the misunderstanding. I think that one of the formats would be, how we can promote mutual understanding through culture, through cultural diversity. And I think that this is maybe the new topic, for World Economic Forum, because we stand to benefit from that, and through that becoming global citizens of the world, we can be the flag bearer of many rich culture. And I think that each nation can have, something to share with the World Economic Forum, about the contribution of culture to the process of development, to, national identity. I think when the world becomes global knowledge, we tend to forget that, because, there are too much information, and the young people don't have time to absorb everything. I think for that reason, some small part of the young people who cannot catch up with, the mainstream, they tend to be marginalized, and then to be, not just marginalized, but also, to be affected by, the ideology of hatred, etc. So I think that we have to strike a balance between global and national, global culture and national culture, to have the pride, in the national culture, to understand cultural diversity, to embrace diversity. I think that would allow us to move beyond the protectionism for a more shared world, a shared World Economic Forum, a shared prosperity, and a shared cultural diversity. I think that maybe I think we must give the young people some voice and opportunity also to learn from the World Economic Forum.
Thank you. Those are all the questions that I have. Thank you again, Your Excellency, for taking the time today for this very insightful interview. And thank you for tuning in to this interview with the Cambodian Institute for Strategic Studies.